And this story about the coronavirus has obviously been making headlines, not just here in Australia, but also right around the world. 56 confirmed deaths and more than 2,000 people infected with that virus. Here's the latest on the coronavirus from our colleagues at Sky News in the UK.
This is a fierce battle, and reinforcements are sorely needed. Military medical staff drafted from Shanghai to go to Wuhan, the epicentre of this epidemic. Ground zero. 10 days ago, there are only 41 cases of novel coronavirus. Now, there are more than 1,200. Officials in Hubei have said they are running low on medical supplies, and hospitals have made their own appeals for donations from the public. The city is on ever greater lockdown, with cars now banned. 56 million people in the region are under a travel ban.
We've been kind of inside for the last couple of days, for many of us keeping to ourselves, kind of in isolation, attempting to stay away from, other people from public areas and whatnot. And I think the term cabin fever is probably coming into play here. So a lot of us are kind of, how do I put it, getting a little restless.
We were shown pictures of the Chinese Politburo in action, including President Xi Jinping. It might not seem much, but it's rare for Chinese state media to broadcast meetings like this. The aim is to show how seriously the leadership is taking the outbreak, even if none of them has yet visited Wuhan. The rest of China is closing off.
Shanghai Disneyland, Disneytown including Walt Disney Grand Theater and Wishing Star Park are temporarily closed now.
Disneyland Shanghai should be packed over the New Year's break. Instead, it's empty. Hong Kong has long and painful memories of the SARS epidemic of 2002 and 2003. It killed hundreds in the territory, so they're taking no chances.
There are 3 tiers with relation to response level: alert, serious and emergency. The level has been raised to serious. Now today I would like to announce we're going to escalate it to the topmost level, that is emergency.
This was already ambitious, to build a 1,000-bed hospital from scratch in less than a week. But authorities have decided it will not be enough. A second, bigger hospital has been commissioned. Each hour seems to bring a new measure from the Chinese government, and that seems to offer the opposite of reassurance. If the response is like this, how big must the danger be? Tom Cheshire, Sky News, Beijing.
Not surprisingly, this story is leading the front pages here in Australia tomorrow as well, including the front page of the Australian newspaper. Now, we have reports today that up to 5 people in Australia are now infected, carrying the coronavirus. This story on the front page of the Australian, though, is about 100 school-aged children who are still trapped in China. Aussie kids in virus trap is the headline there. It says Foreign Minister Marise Payne says diplomatic staff are scrambling to repatriate Australians, including at least 100 school children stranded in the Chinese city of Wuhan, the epicentre of the fatal coronavirus outbreak. The rescue bid comes as thousands of Chinese travellers are being forced to abandon plans to visit Australia after Beijing issued an unprecedented order banning all international group travel. The surprise move sparked alarm among tourism operators who are already battling in the wake of the brutal bushfire season. Corrine, obviously the family of those people who are stuck over there in Wuhan, very anxious and very keen to see them arrive home.
Yeah, of course, and this is a really serious, concerning situation, and it's a tough one because with kids, obviously, your initial reaction is that you want to get them out and you want to get them home safely, but of course, we have to do the right thing here, and the right thing is not to be spreading this terrible virus around. So they do need to stay put, and the process needs to be followed, but absolutely horrific for families involved in this, I would imagine.
Sure is, and it's having, Cal, as we read in that story on the front page of the Australian newspaper, a further impact on the tourism industry here in this country. They're already suffering in the wake of the bushfires and a lot of that fake news that was spread overseas, those maps we saw of bushfires that were basically made it look like the whole of this country was engulfed in flames, and now another blow with the issues they're having to deal with here in relation to this coronavirus.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Matt, but it's an even bigger deal than that, because this is China Chinese New Year. And what the Chinese government has done is to say Wuhan, the whole of Wuhan province, is now in quarantine, and they've cancelled all travel. So it's not just travel to Australia, it is all travel from Wuhan province. Chinese New Year officially began, I believe, yesterday, the 25th, goes for 15 days. It's like what we do at Christmas time. It's when Chinese families get together. Now, for the Chinese government to cancel all travel at this time of the year, at Chinese New Year, is an enormous deal. That's really, really big in Chinese culture. They can get away with it because of the sort of government they are. They're a totalitarian communist government. They can do whatever they like. But because they are a totalitarian communist government, that will make it even harder for Maurice Payne and our Department of Foreign Affairs to get those 100 Aussie kids and any other Aussies involved out of Wuhan. Because if the Chinese Communist government decides they're shutting down everything, that's how you stop this thing spreading, then turning around saying, well, yes, that's OK, we understand you've shut down all travel, except for the Australians, we want you to let them out. Will they say yes? I've got no idea. And the big danger is there's a 7-day incubation period. So someone could be exposed to the coronavirus and be infected with it and have no symptoms for 7 days, and during those 7 days infect who knows how many other people. It's an incredibly complicated issue.
Yeah. 7 days,
It's a really
I
good
think.
really good point you make there too.
Longer than 7 days. Sorry, there was someone talking about 3 weeks.
Yes,
I read today. So, you know, like, I think it's such an unfolding situation. We don't even really understand at this point what we're up against yet.
Yeah, you're right, Corrine. The report, that report in The Australian goes on to say that one of the 5 people in Australia believed to have been infected with the coronavirus, actually they believe contracted the virus at least 3 weeks ago, arrived back in Australia 3 weeks ago, in fact. So the point you make there, Cal, about that 7-day incubation period is a good one, and obviously something that makes it really difficult for authorities to deal with. It's not like you can just assess everyone coming off the plane and say, oh, you know, they look like they've got a few symptoms, so we can put them aside. I mean, anyone,
exactly.
Even if they're not showing any symptoms, could be carrying the virus. So, you know, it's a difficult one for health authorities to deal with, and for Maurice Payne, the Foreign Minister, and the federal government to deal with as they try to bring those 100+ people home from Wuhan. No doubt this will be a big story to watch throughout the week and probably beyond.